Next big mistake is people enter the interviewing situation with the idea of what could you do for me? How much does it pay? Oh my goodness. Don't you ever ask that. What kind of benefits do we have? Don't you ever ask that. If they like you well enough, they're going to tell you all of that. You don't need to worry about it. Look, there are 43 people, well, in some cases. My ratio, to give you an idea, I actually sit down and I place people in sales, high-tech IT sales. My numbers, and you got to know your numbers, my numbers are a year and a half ago, my numbers were I had to get 16 people an interview before I could place one of them. Now that's either 16 people one place, one person 16 people, 16 places, 8 people 2 places. You got it? Okay. Today, my statistics are 22. 1 for every 22. Now, shouldn't I be better than I was? Yeah, but I can't do anything about this market. So I'm the best in the country. What the heck? You think these guys say, oh, Tony's on the phone, he's the best, interview all these people? No, no, no. I've got to discover those opportunities. So that's my numbers. You got to know your numbers. How many calls do you have to make? How many presentations do you have to make? How many interviews do you have to get to the first interview, the second interview, and the third interview? But don't focus on what they're going to do for you. Don't focus on what you want. Nobody cares, and if you give them enough good reasons of why they ought to hire you, they're going to give you plenty of reasons of why you ought to go to work there. People forget to sell themselves as to why they are the best, and they don't bridge their specific experiences to the job. So you've got to be creative enough, and the nice thing about the internet is you can go in there and read what the job specs are. And it's your job to be able to go in and say, I've done this and this and this, and therefore I can do what you want done, and here is why. Okay, here are the next mistakes that people do in looking for a job. Poor communication skills. Don't look people in the eye. Mumble. Look down. Look up. If you don't know how to sell yourself, you got to practice. And I mean practice till you're blue in the face. I give people scripts. Some of them follow them, some of them don't. The ones that do better than the ones that don't. Hey, look, I can just teach. All I can do is teach. Inappropriate dress or body language. At least twice a week, we have to remind people, no cologne, no perfume, no cleavage, no short skirts. This is an interview, it's not a date. Dark suit, white shirt, white blouse, conservative dress. I don't care if they tell you come casually. I had a candidate a few months ago, nice banker suit like I got on, he walks in, everybody in the company, cutoffs and flip-flops. I don't care. You need to look like you can least offend the most conservative in the room. Don't let anybody kid you. Those communication skills are subconscious. And when people come in and don't do right by presenting themselves well and communicating well, there's an automatic disconnect on the part of the employer. Not doing enough research on the company. We got Google, for goodness sakes. You can Google the company, the individuals. I have one client that wrote a couple of books that have nothing to do with what he does. When my candidates go in and say, hey, I Googled you and I saw you wrote a couple of books, I even bought one of them and I read one, what do you think he thinks? Okay? So don't just research the company, research the people doing the interviewing. And make sure you research the right company. I had a candidate about a month ago that researched the wrong company. And he went in with all kinds, God bless him, but he went in with all kinds of information. Now, sometimes those websites can be confusing, but he had the wrong information about the wrong company. Inability to articulate what you want. When you are asked, you need to have a lip load of what I want. And it can't be a bigger car, bigger house, and put the kids through college. No, no, no. It has to be a personal growth type of answer. I want to grow in the opportunity that I am and meet my maximum potential with the ability to contribute to an organization and help their bottom line. People want to know, what are you going to do for me? That's all they care about. and then bad-mouthing the previous employer. Happened Thursday. Candidate, excellent skills, perfect track record. The hiring authority says, Tony, this VP, this guy's perfect. I warned this guy because he did it with me when I interviewed him. I said, John, don't go, you got to go in and talk positively about see, he claims that the people he's with are cheating him. Okay, they're not paying him the commissions that he ought to get and yada, yada. So he unloads on the employer about that. Oh, man. Look, employers identify with employers. Whatever you say about the last one you worked for or the one you worked for before that, you're going to eventually say about them. Duh. Always talk positively about the people you've worked with. Never badmouth anybody. And the last big mistake that people make is that they give very poor reasons for leaving their present or last job, and they don't ask for the job. You better have good business reasons for leaving. I got a resume the other day, a guy I've known. He has listed on his resume, do not do this, why all of these companies, one went bankrupt. 2 of them laid off, he says, laid off the bottom 20% of the company. Hello? Oh my, no. You got to have good business reasons for it, and you need to put a spin on it and think about it. If you tell those, you just think about it, okay? Good business reasons of why you left, and then you got to ask for the job. What do I need to do to get the job? Don't give me this mamby-pamby, well, what's the next step? When should I hear from you? Where do we go from here? It's the cold, hard question of, what do I need to do to get the job? And if you get the answer of nothing because we're not going to hire you, at least you know. No is the second best answer you can get. You want a yes, but that maybe is going to kill you. So you ask, what do I need to do to get the job? I had a candidate a month ago, I recommended this. Now you'd think, my candidates are salespeople. All of them would do this, right? No. Not everybody follows the instructions. This employer of mine interviewed 4 or 5 of my candidates and a bunch of others. He says, I'm going to hire this gal, or at least I'm going to have her back and probably hire her. Out of the 9 people I talked to, she's the only one that asked, what do I need to do to get the job? I'll end with this. This is and there's no other way to do this other than to read it, and then we'll do your questions. This is what one of the people wrote about a review of my program. This program provides some great insights about how hiring managers make decisions, and it inspired me to really think through what I offer, how I present myself, and how I might position my strengths differently from one interview than another, even for the same position. The author does a good job acknowledging and validating the emotional misery that comes from finding a job. My only gripe is that some of the practical advice, especially about getting interviews, feels extremely and overly forceful. Bashara provides scripts for pushing your way into an interview. As a manager, I would be irritated, turned off, and offended. This is hard sell, and to me, it's the quickest way to get a hard no. But on the other hand, I've been unsuccessfully job searching for almost a year. So you may wish to ignore everything that I wrote and follow the tactics in this program. Personally, I just can't. And last I heard, she was still out of work. I didn't say this was easy, okay? I'm just giving you the instructions.